Good morning, good morning, good morning. Happy Monday to you guys. Welcome in crypto enthusiasts. Welcome to another day, another week of In the Trenches. My name is Crypto Saint. I'll be walking you guys through a couple different setups, but more importantly, educating you along the way. If you're new to the channel, this is something that we do every single week, every day, really, to be quite honest with you. With the exception of Wednesdays taking a rest day. But nevertheless, the whole purpose of this is to build not only positions, but to learn along the way. And obviously, catch a good vibe as we go through this. Now, if you guys have any questions for me as far as setups on Ethereum, BTC, and we'll probably dabble into USDT a little bit in Sol, feel free to drop it inside of the chat section. More than happy to answer any questions for you guys as we go along the way. We are working on a 1K to 10K challenge at the moment right now. We did hit our goal. Actually, we surpassed our goal last week. Now this week, we're looking to 2X that this week. So a little bit more pressure for us this week, but nevertheless, we're going to have tight discipline, tight risk management on some of these setups. Now, today being a holiday, New York may be a little bit flat, so we will try to find some entry levels here. Despite that, seeing that the technicals do fold out for us going through the remainder of the day and into the week. I am particularly looking at some long setups. These are going to be intraday setups. I do see that there's volatility on lower timeframes that is starting to develop. With that being said, holding on to these positions are really not going to be the best for us altogether. Full disclaimer, I did position myself earlier in the weekend when this dump did occur. I positioned myself on a short. I'm still holding that short. I've taken some profits off of that. I'm still maintaining that at the time. And I did also take a long on that dip as well too. So I'm hedged on those positions from 2088 down to 1928. For those that are part of the mentorship program, you guys that are strolling in here, some of you guys already took earlier entry. This is entry levels that we were discussing roughly about an hour before this stream began. So there was some add backs here for these levels. I'll be alluding to what those levels look like for you guys here momentarily. If you guys are not part of this server, you're maybe new to the channel, new to seeing me, new to seeing my face, we do have a free Discord where we offer tons of educational content for you guys absolutely for free, from educational videos to books to different types of setups. And there's a litany of different traders that are inside of there that give different ideas. So that being said, enough talking. Let's get into some of these charts and share with you guys kind of what I'm looking at over here. No, not on Discord. Not Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays. Not Mondays, Tuesdays, or even Thursdays. Thursdays I'll stream in the server for educational content, but these YouTube streams are going to be obviously on YouTube Monday and Tuesday, and then I'll do a little bit on Thursday, and then pick up again on Thursday inside the server, and then Friday I'm back here on YouTube. Yeah, we're looking to do some classes here. Looking to do some free classes here going into this week. I'm trying to get back on pace with that. Good morning, though. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, good morning, good morning. I didn't even say my good morning. Good morning, and God bless you. What up, Edu? What up, Lazy? What up, mate? What's up, Omar? What's up, brother? What up, Patrick? What up? Is that Patty? Am I saying that right? Bond to Patty? Bond to Patty? What's up, man? Welcome to the stream. I'm glad a friend recommended you. I'll post the link inside the, I think the link is inside my description, but in the event that that link is broken or expired, I'll post a new link for the Discord here for you guys. You know that feeling you have when you know a cold is coming? That's kind of where I'm at right now. Like I feel it brewing. I feel it brewing. So what am I looking at today? So a couple things, right? I was just kind of doing a deep dive yesterday. I didn't really share this with too many folks. So some of the guys in the inner circle for the mentorship, you kind of alluded to this not too long ago. And if some of you guys are following me, some of these ideas will seem familiar. It's just, staying with that same idea from a higher time frame perspective. I like to utilize, DMI and a couple different other tools that are out there, ciphers as well too, things of that nature, also volume, things like that. But my thesis is, from an Elliott Waves trading strategy, right? Usually, what follows, 5 impulses, that you'll see an ABC correction to occur. Obviously, hitting that 49.56 benchmark, that was the peak of wave 5. So, all of these moves down to the downside really represent a wave A. That's how I'm viewing this. And on lower time frames, you could view this as a wave C as we get into these areas. And then we'll be inside of wave B, which ultimately we'll get some sub waves as far as like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pattern that will develop where where wave B will peak out at. But we're not there yet. So right now, the bigger question for me is, did wave A finish here, or do we have a little bit more room to go going into the remainder of the month, or even bleeding into the month of March? Ultimately, I'd like to see a higher low, because if I start to see a higher low inside these areas, then that gives me more confirmation that wave A was done, and then we're going to start building into wave B. Wave B could take 2, maybe 3 months to develop, maybe even 4 months, and then we're going to come right back down again. At the end of the day, long term, inside the year 2026, I wouldn't say long term, that's loosely put. Inside the year 2026, I believe that we'll see lower lows. 100%, I do believe we'll see lower lows. For the interim right now, I believe that we're going to see some short-term relief when it comes to ETH. And so that's the ride that I really want to build into, a position that we can build into for the next, 2, 3, maybe even 4 months. And then getting into those peak tops of wherever wave B is going to be finishing out, and then riding that back down for those lows. And then just rinse and repeat once we get to those low levels, for where I have targeted for wave C. I also do have a harmonic pattern that sits inside this area as well too. Anywhere between like 1105, maybe even 3-digit ETH again, maybe something in the 900s. I believe that we'll most likely see inside of September, October. But to go 6 months straight, red months, right? Red bearish months, because you can see it here from a monthly perspective. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, literally 6 months of downturn. It's kind of odd to sit there and say, okay, well, we're not going to have at least 1 green month or 2 green months. Has that happened before in history? Yes, it's happened one time before, and this was back in 2018. 2018 gave us relatively 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 months of bleeding, if you will, before it actually had some type of reprieve. And then it made ultimately, an equal low, equal to that low that was right before it finished. But we did have 7 months of bleeding. Outside of that, typically it's like 3 to 4 months, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right over here, same thing. 1, 2, 3. You have a little bit of reprieve. 1, 2, then kind of sideways movement. So for the most part, anytime we get into that 4-month benchmark, we typically start to see some type of reprieve going into the remainder months. So that's what I'm looking at right now. Looking for that reprieve, getting us into somewhere inside of these areas in the near future. And then we have our push down, getting into like October, September, October. It's speculative as far as those dates, but that's kind of like the time frame that I'm looking for. Coupled with that is because most bear markets, if we've noticed, they've lasted usually about a year. 2018, this lasted until about 2019. When did this begin? This began roughly around January, February of 2018, and ended in 2019. Same thing when we had right over here, 2021. This began in December 2021. It ended in July. So that was about 7-8 months, but I'd actually say it's closer to right around here. Notice that it actually finished over here because we went sideways for a little bit right over here in this areas. All right, so roughly about a year. So it's kind of the same thing that I'm looking at here, saying, okay, well, if we started here roughly around September, October-ish, inside that area for a quote-unquote bear market, then a year from now would put us, October of this year. What could happen in that time frame? Well, let's get some type of reprieve, and then we're going to come right back down again. But we're not there yet, right? So right now we're just working with lower time frames. That's kind of what I'm playing around with today. I'm looking for, I'm really looking for 2048. Seeing if 2048 can come to fruition today or tomorrow. That's kind of what I'm looking for on my side. We did take some entries earlier today inside of some of our classes. We're looking at some of these levels right over here. I'm going to see if these maintain. You can run a tighter stop loss, or you can start building a long that sits right around 1953 inside that area. I'm measuring this from a minute wave perspective, something that's small and short, to get us into these levels right over here. I do have a Navarro pattern that subsequently wave B kind of lines up with where that wave 5 would be, that 1.27 area. So I have a little bit of confluence that sits inside this zone. I actually haven't looked at liquidity. Yeah, we got liquidity that sits right around like 1928 inside that area, and have a smaller pocket that sits right around 2039. So the question today is really going to be with, lower volume in the sense of New York going, do we have enough retail that steps in, decides to push the price back into the 2000s plus, which I think we already touched 2000s not too long ago. Yeah, we just touched 2023. Or do we come back and sweep this area right over here inside this zone? This wave D can extend a little bit further down. And just as an FYI, so if anybody's curious, yes, this could actually extend a little bit further down, or extend over, if you will. So let's just make the assumption that it comes and sweeps this low. We get down into this area right over here. It's still going to be a valid pattern. It's just extending the wave D over a little bit more. What's up, Danny? What's up, boy? Good morning, good morning, good morning. I'll post this setup inside of the server just so it's there so you guys can track it. Excuse me. That setup is inside of the chat for you guys. Yeah, I've been in longs. I'm long and I'm short. I'm short from 2088 and long from roughly around 1928. I didn't have the opportunity to add to my short. Just holding on to a dismal position, but you know, it was profitable. Moved up the challenge a little bit. I had posted this inside of the channel right around like I think it was Saturday. Yeah, I believe it was Saturday afternoon. I had shared as far as, you know, what the short would look like. I was really looking forward to playing out going into this week. I wasn't expecting the volume on Sunday, to be quite honest with you. I mean, it played out. I mean, it worked out for us. But that's where that short came from. So if any of you guys are trying to track as far as like setups and challenge plays, things of that nature, that's where it came from. Nice. Nice. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, same story. You got tons of shorts that are just aping in on this. Let's see if CoinGlass actually decides to work this week. Oh, fantastic. Yeah, that next pocket, 1744, and what's right above that? 2154. There's a little shelf that sits there, 2162, and you know what? I actually have a level at 2162. Where did you come from? I know I have you here. I think it's you. No. I know you're. I know you're around here somewhere. Ah, there you are. Okay, you're hiding from me. There you are. Yeah. Yeah, I have one right here for you. 2162.89. And it's funny because there's a liquidity pocket that sits right over here at 2168 inside that area. Yes, there's some that it's below. Not disputing that. Not ignoring that. Some that sits, you know, 1500, 1600s, and maybe that's where we go. Well, I'll be ready. I'll be ready. What the heck did I have here? Why did I have this? Oh, I was looking at wave one. Sorry, my bad. Okay, that's why. I actually don't even need that, to be honest with you. It just gets in the way. We'll get rid of that for right now. Actually, no, we won't. No, we're gonna keep that. We're just gonna get rid of it by hiding it for now. We don't need it on our chart. My main focus is really going to be this area right over here, wave B. This wave B and these two wave Bs, this little range right here. I mean, sell signals that are printed there. Let's take a look at a 4-hour real quick. We do got buy signals, but we have some volatility that's also kicking in over here. Technically, the inverse head and shoulder is still valid. I mean, it really came back and tested that neckline right over here. It's kind of ugly. I'm not going to front. It is kind of ugly. But I mean, if you look at it, you know, breakout, and really we're testing that neckline. So, you know, we still need to maintain this V-shaped recovery. So it's just another way of looking at it. I know some people may or may not agree with that, if you will. I mean, it's an ugly right shoulder. It is. It is. It's an ugly right shoulder. But nevertheless, it's still a right shoulder, right? So technically we're testing that area. But I mean, we do have some buy signals that sit right here inside this area. We just really need to maintain this V-shaped recovery. If we're going to move up higher, like, we need to maintain that, which translates to over here inside this area. This really needs to maintain like so. Right, that's to help us form that right shoulder. I don't think I'm the only person that saw this when it came to this inverse head and shoulder. I think a lot of individuals saw that. They saw breakout. I personally did even long, or at least added back to my long. We were long from 1905, 1903. This was last week's stream. Believe this was on Wednesday through Thursday, and then it didn't actually mature until Friday. We had a nice little pop up, and then we had some add backs with my expectation saying, okay, well, we have breakout. We're going to move up to the upside now. And then we retrace and we're retesting that neckline. So it's still valid in that sense. You know, obviously if we sweep below this 1906 area and we clear that area, then that pattern becomes invalid. So I'll build in between that, and that's where the lower time frame comes into play. It's kind of tricky because it's volume's not the sexiest. We got high volatility, can really go in either direction. We have 2 weeks until the month's over, if you will. We're on a brand new week, start of a brand new week with relatively flat levels. I don't know why this is showing on a weekly. That shouldn't be showing on a weekly. I really don't need that line there either. So yeah, we got a green dot that's getting ready to print as well too from a weekly perspective. So I mean, you got a lot going on, right? Like, we can see the exact same thing that occurred last week, right? Like, relatively last week was didn't make a lower low, didn't make a higher high, just kind of sitting inside of that accumulation phase, if you will, sideways movement on lower time frames. So nothing you can really get married to in the sense of positions and they want to be holding on to for long term. Somebody got filled at 1953. That's what's up. That's what's up. No, I can't get that out of there. Yeah, I mean, this is, I'm not saying it's difficult to trade. It's just, this is just kind of like, quote unquote, boring. Because, I mean, you got sideways movement. Go to 450 real quick. You know, obviously we have a big drop down, little pop up, but I mean, really we're just moving sideways. Little pop ups, but just moving sideways. This short was money though. I mean, if I can get back to 2090, that would be phenomenal for the day. Then that kind of changes the narrative. Then that shows me we have the buyers really stepping in. I'm gonna run this to about 11:30, guys. Just as an FYI heads up for you guys. I'll be back inside the server. I'll be working with you guys inside the server, but I'm gonna be working one-on-one with some guys here. You know, when people need me, they need me, and so building these other individuals is honestly, it's more important to me than running a stream and just giving calls. But if you're inside the server, you'll see what I'm doing specifically. I just want to maximize the time for the day with you guys and with everybody, really. So if we got some students that need a little bit of guidance, I'll drop a stream for that. What's up, late night? What's going on, brother? Welcome, man. Welcome. Glad that you're here. We did do the giveaway for the Citadel over the weekend. Shout out to Lana. I believe they won. Well, I know they won because I sent it. They won that giveaway, so shout out to them. We still do have another giveaway going for the month of February. It's for the journals. You know, individuals that are building their journals. You know, they have concise thoughts, invalidations, stop losses, things of that nature. I'll kind of give you guys a peek as far as what that looks like. Let me see if I can grab it here. Yeah, it's inside this section right over here. Let's open that up. And where's Discord? There we go. Yeah, it's right over here inside this section. So, you know, traders that have good ideas, thoughts that they're putting together, you know, all these people are entered into the drawing for it. There is a free journal in the event that if you ever need something to track your own trades, chart your P&L, what your growth looks like, things like that. There's a free template that's in there, something that I use personally. You can chart any type of coin that's out there. You can add your own coin if you wanted to. So there's a litany of coins that are in there, from River to ETH BTC. There's Grass that's in there. There's Ordi that's in there. So there's already a couple of different coins that are pre-templated in there for you. But if you want to know like what your return on investment would look like, if you go to full TP, there's already a calculator that's already built in there. You can run some AI with it because they do have integrated AI with it. So if you want to build a certain viewpoint from it, saying, okay, I want to look at all my winning trades for the last month. What was my win rate? You can do that. What was my loss rate? You can look at that. You can look at, are you better at swings? Are you better at intraday? Are you better at scalps? So you can really break down all that data. I've said this before, I'll say it again, what gets measured gets improved. And so this is just a format of where you can measure what your results look like as a trader. And then really make your assessment from there, saying, okay, well, I suck at scalps, so I'm going to stop scalping. Or I suck at swings because, I don't know where to take TPs, or I struggle with taking TPs. So this really helps break it down for you as a trader. And, as a trader, there's one thing that you'll learn real fast. It's you versus you. This is the only sport, and yes, I'm calling it a sport, where you're really going to be challenging yourself on a day-to-day basis. Some days you win, sometimes you lose. It's just all a matter of how you respond to that at the end of the day. So check that out inside the server. It's 100% free for it. And if you want to enter it into the giveaway for the month, you don't need that template per se. Essentially, you're just creating your own journal inside that forum section. You're just going to come over here to the forum section, hit a new post, and then just create your own thing. And like I said, we have a couple people in here that have already put together some ideas. I'm not going to share that here on the stream, but if you are in the server, you can take a look at them. You can chat with them. You can see what their ideas look like. So when you hear me say that we have great traders that are in there that are already putting great ideas together, some of them are, contrast to mine. Some of them are aligned with mine. It's just really a matter of, who you feel comfortable with and who you line up with at the end of the day. All right, so that's a 450. No buy signal that printed here. I would love to see a buy signal print here. We got loss of strength, so volatility is still going to be poking in. Let's look at an 89-minute real quick. Sell signal on the top right there. That's no bueno. And that could point towards lower. Hard defense right here. Like I said before, buyers and bulls, what have you, however you want to put it. Their objective right now is not offense. They're on defense. They're on defense. And while bears are still on offense, they're not pressing hard up the court, metaphorically speaking. They know they got the lead right now, so they're just kind of like, yeah, we can take a small little breather. We can give up a couple points, if you will. Right? Bears have home court advantage right now, so they're good. And as if you guys do decide to come into the server, just a couple little prompts. Obviously, we want to verify people are legit people, so just follow the verifications. Yeah, well, the purple lines answer your question. From this total pattern right here, I really want to see it get broken. You know, we bounced off of it. Now we retested it, but then we had a throwdown right underneath it. So wave B is usually like a pivotal area for me when I'm utilizing harmonics, and I have two harmonics right here. I have a Navarro. This is me speculating it came to here. The Navarro will truly complete it right over here. That's the way that I have it designed. But in the event that we get like another flush down into, you know, say 1921 inside that area, that's what it would look like. But it doesn't change where that wave B is at. So I have two wave Bs, one for this total pattern and one for this Navarro. If I can get into this area right over here and maybe see the same thing right over here, but over here on the side of this level, then I'd be open to, you know, taking TP here and maybe looking at a head short, or at least adding back to my head short here inside this area, inside that zone. Yeah, see, nothing but volatility today. Bareback, let me get some water, guys. Our goal last week was to hit roughly around like 17 for the challenge. That was our first initial goal that we're looking to accomplish. Which we hit, which we did fine with. Now it's just a matter of getting to roughly around like 3162 this week. I think that might be a little bit of a challenge, not gonna lie. That might be a little bit of a challenge. I think this will be like the, not necessarily make or break week in the sense of like lose the challenge or anything like that, but like this will be a very, very important week challenge wise if we can grow the account to 3162. Because once I can cross over 3162, then it becomes a lot easier. The margin positions will grow, the moves will be more developed, and then you know, obviously is to hit, you know, 10 racks inside the month of February. That wasn't a pertinent goal for the challenge. It's just something I put on myself, saying, okay, I want to reach those. What targets do I need to hit? First week I needed to hit 1778, which we did. This is the second week, if you will, so roughly around 3162 is what we need to hit in order to be on pace. Then the next week we need to hit 5623, and then the final week we'll hit 10 bands. But this is kind of like that momentum week, if that makes any sense, like when it starts snowballing. So if we could cross over into 3162, you know, my confidence will rise. Not my ego, my confidence will rise, saying, okay, that not only are we on pace, but we have higher probability of reaching our goal because our margins can grow, and the narrative that we have for the market, and as far as direction and the thoughts that we have going into the market, are coming to fruition. I longed River, but then I threw it away. I didn't want to keep it. This is the second time I've done that. That's okay. I'm still waiting for lower. Like that's not a wave C. I'm just gonna wait for lower. I had a small little long on it. I took like tiny little profits off of it, and I was like, yeah, I'm done. I actually already dumped my my short on it as well too. I just didn't feel like holding it anymore. I'm still targeting these areas, these zones right over here. These levels. Actually, let's look at USDT. We haven't looked at USDT yet. USDT just needs to take a nice hard break, man. I think we got a B here. Now I believe we're inside of a C. We just need to see that whoop. This thing can drop, man. ETH is going to have a nice little push up. It's another reason why I feel like just building makes more sense, because you have a clear wave 3 for USDT. I mean, it doesn't get any clearer than that. But we don't have a developed wave 4, and typically what's going to follow your impulse 1, impulse 3, and impulse 5 is you're going to see your ABC. So I believe we're inside of an ABC from a daily perspective when it comes to USDT. I believe that we are. So getting a move down to this fair value gap or this fair value gap, which puts us around 6.5. Like this was the zone that I was really looking at and focus on. Was going to be like these levels right over here. You can see like essentially this box. That's really what I'm looking for. Oh, that was me.
Sure?
Oh, yeah.
Was it Sam?
Yeah. Yeah, I'll do it.
Huh?
I'll do it. What Starbucks? It's a target for ETH. Low time frame. I really want to see this right here, 2048. Right, and then see what develops from there. Like maybe I get continuation up. I'm gonna move higher. I mean, I have a peak level. Subwave wise, I'm assuming here going into the month of February that we can get into like 2162. That I would feel really good about. We can get to 2162. But short term, considering it's a low volume day, because New York's not open, maybe I get 2048. So I'll be looking to take some TPs inside those areas. One thing that I like to do when I'm utilizing my harmonics. Right, so it's this level right over here, just as an FY, 2162. But I'll take a full fib, not a full fib, a vapor fib. There's no relevance to the name, it's just based on the colors because I used to do dark screens. Right, so let's just play devil's advocate here. Let's just say we get some type of opium, things like that. I don't see that happening right now because we got a lot of volatility. There's a lot of pressure that's building on both sides. But let's just say, make the assumption that we can get into this area, drop here, get into this area, kind of move sideways for a little bit, maybe get another little drop that comes here. And then for me, that would be like, that's going to be like a key area. Like I'm either looking for, full TP out of my position and looking into short to come back down. So, it's a long way of answering your question, but short term 2048, midterms 2162, moderate to long term 2623. Can it go higher than 2623 if it decides to go? Yeah, it can go up to 2900s. So looking at monthly, these are the fib levels that I'm looking to see where ETH can come back to. I don't know why this is printing here. It shouldn't be printing on a weekly or monthly. But looking at these levels right over here. So kind of what I was just showing you on the 34 minute, getting us into these levels, right? What is that? 2571, 2623. If you look at the monthly, we have some confluence that sits inside that zone because we have a 0.382 level that sits right around 2602. Extreme bearish. Wave B is very similar to like a wave 4. All right, wave 4 is typically flat. Can a wave 4 be sharp? Absolutely. It doesn't mean that it won't. I'm just saying typically it's usually flat. Same thing for a wave B. So in this particular case, if it's super bearish, it's going to be flat. 0.382 levels is really what we're looking at. But if we get a little bit more aggressive, sense of bearish retest, because all this is bearish retest. I mean, dude, we can go all the way to like 4,400. It's still bearish retest. I mean, I'll take that back. It's still bearish retest. But if we're reclaiming 3,800s, our probabilities of moving higher are going to be a lot greater. But I don't see that. I really don't. Because what follows a 5 impulse wave is usually going to be an ABC. Not usually. That's what you're going to get. You're going to see an ABC. So I view this as an A. And now we're looking for A to be completed here. Maybe it comes down a little bit lower. Maybe it sweeps into 1600s, whatever. Even if it did, I'd still looked along those areas and then ride it into where wave B is going to be at. So, 0.382, pretty bearish. We have some confluence that sits inside that area because 2623 from our initial drop was a point of support. And we haven't come back and retested it. We actually just completely violated it. So if they're going to flip support into resistance, then I would anticipate that we're going to go back and retest that at the bare minimum. 26, 23, which is, like I said, still bearish. All right, it was this area right over here. And you can see we bounced off of it for a minute and then boom, just dropped. Nothing's even come remotely close. So we have all this space inside this area, all this space. Just looking down on lower time frames, we got to work our way towards it. So just going level to level. Okay, cool. We're at 2048. Are we going to hold that area or are we going to come right back down again? Because what does ETH do? What is ETH notorious for? ETH is notorious for retracing all of its pumps. So just a longer way of explaining it for you, man. Hopefully that helps. I'm glad you like the music. I'm glad the actual music's playing correctly on a good day. I've had days where it's just been a pain in the butt and not cooperating, so cheers to you, man. I'm glad you like it. I'm gonna go to an 89-minute real quick. Yeah, let's go to 144. Let's see if I can get better data. Guys, that's a little. That feels trappy. I ain't gonna lie, that feels pretty trappy. You still got growth to grow on there. Okay. Okay. This volume just, I don't like volume. Volume don't look good. I mean, I wish we could just clear the CME gap. That would be fan-freaking-tastic. You know, so I clear a small portion of that. Yeah, see 2048. That lines up with what I was telling you earlier. We got that gap where that begins, but I mean the bigger one, the one I think that we're all really looking at, is going to be inside this area. But you know, short term for the day, we got 2042, 2048. We already cleared a good portion of it though so far, to be honest with you. Cleared at least over 90% of it so far. We don't really have to go and clear the remainder of it, but if we do, yeah, that'll put us on pace. I'll put us right in those targets. But this is kind of what we're gonna get. You're gonna get like high volatility, so there's no shame in taking profits and saying, you know what, the hell with it. You have such a huge narrative right now for just to push the price down lower, just because, to be quite honest with you, just because, yes, there's some liquidity down lower to the downside. I'm not disputing that, but in reality, like, where are you getting this momentum from? Just people just aping in, or did we really hit like a peak top? So you mean to tell me, 2080 was the peak top here for this move, and now we go to like 1600? Like, that's just weird. It's just a weird narrative. And I don't want to come across hypocritical when I say that. Like, I did position short. Don't get me wrong, but even me, like, I took profits on it. I'm like, why the heck would we go to 1600? Like, it makes more sense for us to get to like 2162, 2200s, 2300s. Then maybe we move there. Maybe we front run, 0.382 level, and we actually go into like 0.236 for wave B, and then we move down. Okay, cool. Like, I can sign on to that. But mathematically, like, none of that kind of lines up. So I would be holding my short going, yeah, this makes no sense. I need to change my handle on my template here. My X account username has changed. It's the same as here at Crypto Saint TA. If you're looking to find me on X, I post some setups in there. I post some setups, usually macro, higher time frame. But those ideas are there. We saw the exact same thing last week, guys. Quite literally, we saw the same thing. This was just last week. Peak, came down, sideways movement. Now we peaked again going into the next week, came down, and then sideways movement. We're seeing rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. And we got heavy amounts of FOMO kicking in for a lot of individuals who, on both sides, not just on one side. Bears who just want to see obliteration. You want to see BTC at 40K, 30K. I've seen some ridiculous ones like at 13K. Who want to push ETH, from here straight to 3-digit ETH in one move. But sure, push it down. Push it down harder. That's fine. Because once it hits those bottom levels, I mean, only going to create generational wealth. You're not going to create capitulation. I think capitulation needs to come when we move up and then we move back down again. I don't even see money man in the market right now, to be honest with you. So we got some shorts here in the market. I mean, heavy, obviously way heavier on shorts. Bruh. Oh, that's hype. I was about to freak out. I don't need hype. I need soul. I thought I saw soul at 30. I was like, wait, what? The majority of them are longing. They're shorting BTC. Maybe they rotate out of that. And they rotate into... we got more longs. I don't know why I had this twice. Jeez. They're shorting the crap out of it. That's not fair. That's not fair to BTC. My gosh. Nobody's longing it right now. Because what price is it at right now? 68 and some change. Yeah, that's 70. That 70 benchmark is a tough cookie. It's a tough cookie. Geez, no one's even bidding on Sol either. That's what I'm saying. It's a relatively flat day. You don't even see heavy bids and flows coming in. 1970. There's a decent order there. This cat's shorted 1970. 5 million accounts, so yeah, you qualify inside the whales. You got one order only. $40 million short. Bless your heart. I want to check on my buddy here. I feel so bad for this guy. He keeps adding. This guy went from 125 position down to 115, down to 111, then down to 108. We had that push up. He took some profits out. He de-risked down to like around like 90 million. And then he's had some add backs and now he's back to 108. This guy was sitting like 5 million in the red. He has yet to close this thing. Yeah, so like, yeah, he took some profits. Yeah, he took some profits. Good job, bro. Good job, good job, good job. Good job. Yeah, he was just spamming it. Wow. Nice. 2103 here. Got a pull there. 200. Yeah, this guy's doing good. He's all right. I don't know what that adds up to, but he's doing all right. I mean, he's cross. I mean, well over 300K. Well over 300K so far. Yeah, he's probably up to like 400, 500K on that right now. But now he's sitting in like 2.5 million in the red. More power to you, man. I hope it works out for you, bro. Jeez, what'd this guy do? Yeah, this cat shorted. Coño. One position only, 506. Yeah, you got all these orders that's sitting at 1900. And all these orders that sit at 2100. That's the psychological level. 2250. That's been there, man. There's people that have just orders just sitting and sitting and sitting and sitting and sitting inside that area. Got a nice little shelf. Little one. Yeah, little one. It didn't even touch 2040. That kind of lines up with what I was saying earlier, 2048, mathematically. We'll see. Michael Saylor said, talking about an ETH BTC. Yeah, that would bankrupt them though, bro. That would literally bankrupt them. That would cause a major issue in the market. That would definitely cause a major issue in the market. Okay. Whew. Okay. No shade bottom there. Actually, you know what? Let's just add that on here, just so we have. It's the thing. We don't have any true shaved heads until we get to like, not even that. And not even that. Mind you, that's 34 minute. I'll go to 144, see if I see anything. Yeah, right over here. There we go. Yeah, got a shaved head here and got a shaved head here. That's where the true imbalance is really going to be sitting, at least from this time frame perspective. Oh, didn't mean to do that. I mean, the question really is just a matter of when. When can we get there? I can see money flow kind of coming in here. That's always concerning to me. Like, I really want to see it kind of peak out like that. I really need to see more money coming into the market. Yeah, see money flow is kind of running out. Really need to start curving up. You know I love your way. I mean, If it went to 8K, yeah. I don't think he was projecting 8K. I think that's because what most people are kind of whispering in his ears and calling for. River, I'm just gonna wait for it. I closed my short. I had a small little long on it earlier, at least yesterday, but I didn't want to hold that thing overnight. I just didn't trust it. To be completely honest, just didn't trust it. I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna close it. So I had a long actually right on this candle right over here, right on this exhaustion candle. Came down a little bit lower, and then we had a nice little push up. Yeah, that's the thing about River. I mean, you don't need a large margin. I mean, you can run with, you know, $70 position, $80 position, and, you know, you can flip that into a couple hundred. No problem. But I'm targeting lower. I mean, I just see the A and I see the B. Like this, I don't see this as a C. I don't see that as a C wave. So for me, it's, you know, 1.13, 1.272, 1.414. If this thing really gets busy, you know, then we have the extension levels that go a little bit deeper. But these are relatively your classic wave C levels. So, you know, I definitely want to start seeing what occurs here at 7.8. Down into, you know, and right in between, I have a nice little hot pocket that sits inside this area. So I'll continue to wait. I shorted this on wave B like at 24. There's some other people inside of the server that were shorting with me on that. There we go again. Right back down.
Guess what? Guess what? Guess what?
USDT crossing that level. You're gonna go to 8.12 probably. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, short-lived, man. Short-lived. If you know, if I get stopped in that position, I'm stopped in profits. But yeah, that position's done. Dunzo. Thanks for playing. Not you guys. I'm saying this out loud. My position's from lower, but I took profits on there because probability of me coming back down lower again are greater, so I'll just wait for lower. That's what he does. Retraces every single pump that it has without prejudice. It's like, give me that. Dude, this is a classic wave 3, right? Went down to a 2.618 area. $1933.59. Went down a little bit lower. I think that went to like 1928, something like that. Yeah, 1928. But this wave count that I had just now that I'm just trying to figure out, just not gonna work out. Not here. I gotta remeasure these. So we'll start from scratch. And we'll work it that way. Well, that opens up for higher though. Yeah, look at that. Gets me right back into that same area that I was talking about before. I mean, I'm open to 1921.49. 1921.49. I have limits that are set in that area. And if that's the case and it violates this area, then I gotta remap again. My harmonic will be accurate, but then I gotta see an impulse, then wave 2, then get a wave 3. So it's a little frustrating. A little frustrating. But that's what that's what price action is going to create, especially with volatility. They're fighting for dominance over a specific side. Lower time frame on this 34-minute. DI negative just took dominance above the baseline, but they don't have the strength to match it. Yes, they are picking up strength. Yes, ADX is starting to rise. There's a move that's developing, but that DI negative could always flip right back down while ADX is still pushing up, which equates to this being a bullish retest from this level right over here. From this swing to here, that makes that the bullish retest. I'll wait for a confirmation. I'm not going to chase it. I'll drop this inside of the server just so you guys can track it. I just added the updated levels for you guys inside the server. What's up, Rebel? What's going on with Doug? No, Scissors, is that you? Did you change your handle? Maybe I'm tripping. Yeah, sorry. Maybe I'm getting handles confused. My apologies. It's Monday. I haven't had my coffee. Leave me alone. Yeah, 1939, not a bad level. What do we look like on heat map? We got a nice cooldown. Get a nice cool down. What's up, B-Dog? What's up, Sniper? Good morning, brother. Coffee with cocaine? Definitely not. I think there's a brand of coffee. Yeah, see, what's up for going? That's because your username here on YouTube doesn't match yours in Discord, so sorry about the confusion. But I think there's a brand of coffee. I saw it the other day. I think it was called coffee cocaine, something like that. Yeah, I'm waiting for it too. I'm waiting for it too. Almost there. We're almost at 200 members right now for the server. Working on another giveaway once we cross that threshold. As far as members, literally like 6 away. Server wise. So once I have everything fully built and everything is, pretty much running on its own, then I can get into the entertainment stuff. No, I did not order the suit yet. I have not ordered the suit yet. Well, I took my other order out. I left my other long alone. So I took my ad back away. I took my ad back out, but left my original order in. That's frustrating. That's okay though. Let's see what happens here. I want to see what happens inside that blue box. What's inside this blue box? Yeah, 1933, 1937, 1928. So if anybody's curious and like, what would it look like? It would look like this. You're gonna, if you blow past this area, then your fib is, your wave count is invalidated. You could maybe set it over here, because I do have limit orders that sit over there, and then the wave count would start again. But let's just make the assumption we don't get to 1921. This was the wave 2, and we're looking for wave 3. Wave 3. Wave 3. And that would have been wave 5 for a subwave that we have. This is a clear ABC. So sideways movement. What follows after an ABC? You have your first impulse 1, impulse 1. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I'll put that in here. Excuse me. Whoops. That should give it to us. We should get a minute out of that. Get some turbulence, but that would be juicy. I'll remeasure that too. Just speculating right now. Yeah, I like that. I actually kind of like that. Oh. Damn. Yeah, that happens. Yeah, I've stripped majority of my shorts so far. I think I did like just a little bit over 400 on that. It wasn't a huge play, but you know, every deck counts. That's too bright, actually. Hold on, I gotta turn on some other lights here. Just messing with my eyes. All right. That made sense. That's why you tapped there. EMA traders. You know what? One thing I want to look at. That's why you bugger. I'm slipping, man. I didn't even catch that earlier. I was slipping on that. That's my fault. One, two, three, four. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1971. 1971 is going to be like the key area to flip here in the next session. There we go. That's a little better. There we go.
Guess what? Guess what?
I have balances on both sides. Yeah. We're definitely going to come back and revisit this area without a doubt. What's USDT doing besides farting around?
Guess what?
I need to go ahead and get rid of you because you're going to be annoying for the next couple minutes. Yeah. Sweep that right over there and move up. That's kind of like what I would be looking for. I'm not saying I'm going to get that, but that's what I would be looking for. I need to sweep this right here. Not sweep this. I need to sweep this. Yeah, it's still on the table for me, yeah. I'm still on the table.
Yeah. Unknown brain. Marvin Divine. Saying bye to all the lies and all
It better not. I'm gonna assume they got in a little bit higher. I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing at your comment. That was good delivery. Mm, 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 mm. Yeah, USDT's a culprit here, man. That's a culprit. Why don't you just go to your home? It's too good for your home.
My life is lovely now, I'm focused on me. You said you were about to die, I guess the car is on E. But see, I ain't even tripping, cause I just chose to believe that somebody gon' come around and give me just what I need. I don't wanna see you finding, see you looking down and out. Coming to me crying, saying you miss having me around. Gave you chances and you blew it just so easy. Doing something times you told me beat it, now you
That's me to USDT right now. Just go to your home. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I was pulling it from. You too good for your home? Ah. USDT's too proud. I was like, no, I'm not going there. I'm gonna leave that there because just come here. I mean, it's not even your permanent home. Like, shoot, I really want to see you where I really want you to go. I mean, I want to see USDT back over here. That I know that's not gonna happen. I'm just saying, I would like to see it there. I mean, this was a key level. You know, USDT had to break that area for ETH to get to an all-time high. So, you know, we'll get back here again at some point, but not before we get to all-time high this year for USDT. You know, well, maybe you guys do or don't know this, but like, this was 2022, right? Bear market, all-time high for USDT. So I'm not putting it past to break another all-time high here in this area. I was just using the mathematics. It's price discovery once we get into that area. Really don't know where it's going to go. Loss of strength. This is like the only saving grace that we have for right now, but I don't want to see this. That's what we're trying to avoid. If that happens, then this thing's going to go back up again, and that's going to be a little frustrating. Too good for your home, huh? Yeah, I think 8.127 is that area we got to pay attention to. Oh my. Oh no. Yeah, okay. 8.27, thank you. Whew. Almost give myself a heart attack there. Yeah, I could go higher. But that was a very manipulative wave B if that's the case. I really just want to see it start just losing strength here in these areas. And if we can get a push down on USDT, like this area will get smoked. It's really, we're going to be targeting this right over here, guys. And then we'll, reassess, seeing if we can get some scalp shorts in there, come back down into wave 4, back into 2009, maybe hold on to the 2000 level, and then we'll move back up again. Coming back into this area right over here, 20, what is that? 2237, somewhere in that area. Yeah, ain't that the truth? It is a war zone right now. Is ETH strong? Wait, did I read that right? Nah, it's volatile. And there's no real true strength. And how you can tell that, just as an FYI, it's looking at ADX and you're looking at DMI. What am I doing here? Their trend is not exhausted yet, though. I mean, rule of thumb when you're using an imbalance index is, you want to see whatever leading direction is above 65%, which, mind you, this is a 34-minute, so take it with a grain of salt. But, we're sitting at 66% right now. True trend exhaustion sits right around about 100% or so. So I don't have true trend exhaustion on it yet because I haven't hit 100% yet, and I'm holding over 65% in the sense of trend. So I feel like it's a little bit more favorable. Maybe we need more shorts to start aping in because they're trying to push the price down, and that gets gobbled up, and then that's going to drive the price higher. We haven't really looked at liquidity as much today as we normally do. Mainly, focusing on structure and price action. But you can see that we have a nice little pocket that sits right in here. We have a hot pocket that sits inside this zone. It's like 1926, maybe down to 1921. So, I mean, that's why the limits for 1921 are still valid, in my opinion. I cannot stop yawning. Holy cow. Doom, 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 doom. Decent little push up. I didn't clear that imbalance, so I don't feel like I'm out of the woods yet. I really don't. If I get an up thrust, great, fantastic. I know I'll revisit this area at some point. Very similar to what I was showing you on the 144. Right? I would anticipate that. It's just, for me, the question becomes like, you know, where do we go first? Do we go and visit these areas first? And then this is just, you know, for a later date, later time. A little bit of a shorter stream today, just heads up, FYI to you guys. I'm gonna be inside of the server. I will be inside the server with you guys. But I gotta reach out to a couple people. Walk them off the ledge. Make sure they're good. Trading wise. You know, and if you guys see where my stops are at, you see also where my limits are at. These are also posted inside the server as well too. You see where my targets and my TPs are at. So if there are any questions in related to that, you know, before we wind down or anything like that, you know, now's the best time to ask, especially if you wanted to hear it live and get, you know, further in-depth explanation. But if you're overall pretty good and you have the idea, you know the map, then you should be solid. And then I'll be updating it accordingly going into the server. And for whatever reason, if any of you guys are utilizing the referral link with Bitfinex to get the discounted fees, if you don't see your VIP status, please reach out to me, whether it be VIP inside of the server or VIP inside Bitfinex. Please just let me know. There is a form for you to complete once you've already completed the UID and setting up the account and all that jazz, and you've already done your deposit. There is a form that we have inside there for VIP access. Take a look at it. It's a quick and fast and easy way to say, hey, Saint, you know, I've done all these things. Please, you know, help me with my upgrades. So just heads up on that. I've had a couple of individuals, they followed all their steps, but maybe they ran into a snafu with their VIP status on Bitfinex. So we have direct access to them, so we can reach out to them and say, hey, you know, this is this person's UID. You know, this is when they send out, this is when they did all these things. Please let us know. And they usually get to it within a couple hours, like 2-3 hours. Either they'll do the upgrade on their end because it's something that was on their side, or they'll let us know like, hey, you know, wrong referral link, or maybe they need to do KYC for whatever reason. Not that you need KYC in order to trade on there, but maybe this individual is just doing something with their account and they need KYC. Point being is, if you run into any issues, just reach out to me and I'll assist you as best as I humanly possibly can to make sure that you're taken care of. I don't know, maybe we'll do a stream party when we hit the, oh, you're welcome, brother. You're welcome, you're welcome. Maybe we'll do a little stream party when we hit 200 members inside the server. We're not there yet. Like I said, we're right around like 194. Like no joke, I'd be happy with even if we got to back to 2088. I'd be content with that. Mm. 11. ETH is just on defense, man. ETH is just on defense. That's all I can really do. Just play some defense. Complete random. Anybody ever read the Book of Joshua? I was just going down a rabbit hole in my Bible this weekend, and I didn't know if anybody had read that. As I'm in Joshua right now, just going back over Joshua, just getting some inspiration about leadership, and then I came across Joshua again. I know, random, but curious if there's any like minds out there that have actually gone down those rabbit holes. You're on Exodus right now? That's what's up. That's what's up. But I want to make sure that as we wind down here, make sure you guys are set off in the right way. If you're new here, welcome to the streams. I'm a faith-based individual. A lot of everything, actually everything I do is based on his order. I don't believe in coincidence. I believe everything happens for a reason, for a purpose, as we all have purpose. And we all have a calling. There is a difference. I know part of our purpose that we all share with one another is to build the next person next to you. I believe in building that individual with faith and building them through word, because there's nothing stronger, there's nothing mightier than the word of God. That being said, if you guys would allow me to, I'd like to pray over you. I believe praying over other individuals is not a show of strength, but it's a show of righteousness. And that's where we all try to be, right? We all try to be righteous. We're all sinners at the end of the day, right? And so practice in prayer, is way more important than practicing your strategies, your charts, and things of that nature. Having that communion with him, he's pulled you into his covenant. It's having that relationship and it's deepening it with him. And it's praising his name even when you're down. It's even when you're up. Maybe you're having a great day. Maybe you're having a great trading day. Maybe you had a great trading week. It's giving all that glory to him, because all the glory is from him, and we do all the glory in his name. That being said, Father, I want to thank you for this new week and for this short but meaningful stream. Even though the market is volatile and we needed heavy patience again, we thank you that you are steady when the charts are not. Your word says you will keep him in perfect peace whose mind is stayed on you because he trusts in you. So we log off and start this week. Keep our minds stayed on you, not on every wick and candle. Help us to be patient when the market is wild. Help us to wait for quality, not chase noise. Help us to trade from peace and not from fear or even fear of missing out. Lord, I ask that you cover every person who is here today and every family that they represent. I ask that you protect their minds, their health, their homes, and their finances. Let this week be marked by wisdom, discipline, and clarity, not just big moves. We give you this Monday, this market, and this whole week ahead. Lead us, steady us, and remind us that our source is you, not the volatility. I pray all this in Jesus' name, and everybody said, Amen. Before I jump off, these are my invalidation levels, right? So I'll run it to invalidation. That's how I look at it. I have limit orders that are 1921.49. So I'm more open to the longs and building longs going into the remainder of the month. Yeah, and see what we can get from there. But that's essentially how I would play it. Wow, why did that get so bright? Did not mean for that to occur. Yeah, that's better. Oh, you're very welcome. You're welcome. Amen, 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 amen. All right. So, shorter stream today. Got a couple things I need to handle, but like I said, I'll be inside of the server, navigating through these waters, if you will. You guys see what the setup looks like for me going through the course of the day. High volatility, so it's really 50-50 on both sides. We do have some leading indicators from an imbalance perspective on lower time frames that are essentially pointing towards that trend is not fully exhausted yet, which means we have some more upside that we could potentially be looking at. You guys see where the targets that I'm looking at from the Navarro setup to the total pattern. You can see where both of those wave Bs are sitting inside of those areas. If you're confused on where any of those are, if you hop into the server and you go into today's stream playback section, you can actually see these setups posted inside of the chat. So everything is right there for you. You can actually go back and watch the playback and follow along and see what the mindset was behind that. So that way you have a little bit more confidence in it. Or maybe if you're fading and maybe you're shorting it, maybe that's your play. More power to you, but the information is there for you to start building off of. It is the start of the week. It's a slower day just due to New York markets that are being closed. I would anticipate that we're probably going to see a little bit more of a push going into Asia and then going into the later parts of this week. That being said, we'll be back here again tomorrow, same time. With the same thesis, same idea, starting to build some positions and looking for those TP areas. In the meantime, between now and tomorrow, please be safe with your current positions. Not being positioned and being sidelined is equivalent to still being profitable. So in blackjack, they say a push is as good as a win. It's kind of going to be the similar thought process behind it. Sitting behind and not being entered, or at least not chasing a position, is equivalent to a push. You're still guarding capital. If you're feeling a little bit more confident, like I said before, you see where those levels are at. You see where the stop losses are sitting all together. So relatively stay tight with them. Don't hold on to losing positions, especially if they're not going inside of your favor. As we go into the beginning of this week, please be profitable, as you guys know. And above all, God bless you guys. Peace be with you as you go through the remainder of the course of your day. If no one's told you today, I love you. God loves you. And I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Peace.